Hey, Eric.
What's up, Chris?
Welcome back to Retrograde Amnesia.
What do we usually do as the intro? Explain to me how the intro works.
Just dumb bits usually, but in this particular dumb bit, I wanted to promote some of our bonus content that people can sign up for at patreon.com/retroam. We just recently got done recording a small 3-episode series on the Suiko Gaiden games.
Small three of pieces.
Small 3 of pieces of the visual novel games starring Nash Lakshmi, which I really like those games. So go there and check it out. What do you like that we've done recently?
Well, we did a character battle tournament where we picked, 140 characters from Suikoden 2 and Suikoden Gaiden for a 4-hour podcast.
Oh, yeah, that was great. We're going to do that with Xenosaga at the end, and it's not going to take that long because there's not as many characters, although there's a lot of characters in this game. There's a
whole lot of characters in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, traditionally, as part of our RPG coverage for our bonus coverage, we get NCAA tournament-style brackets and talk about each character facing off against each other until a final character, a best character of each game is crowned.
Yes. It's a great time. It's our least scripted podcast. Would you like to hear some hot sounds that I've recorded?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 5, where we are covering Xenosaga Episode 1, Nietzsche Word Nietzsche.
That's how it's pronounced, right?
Okay.
German
thanks.
fake net really schooled you on that one, son.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Chris. I'm joined by Eric. Hello, Eric.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, we're also joined by the Real Net, the collective of patrons who are listening to us record live. You too can do this at patreon.com/retroam. Thank you once again to the Real Net for helping us out, giving us facts and dollars.
Not logic, though. Can't do facts and logic.
No, not at the same time. Not in the same, like if it's
not
like
the same sentence.
If it's like a 3-course meal, you can have facts for the first course and logic for the third course. Got to have something in between.
Ice cream. We're also joined by the Fake Net, our post-production AI companion, who was rejected from the cast of Octopath Traveler 2 because her name starts with an F.
Initializing Fake Net.
My exclusion was an unfortunate technicality. Every role-playing game demands an inhuman character seeking to either be human or erase humanity.
Are there a lot of F's in there?
Octopath is an 8-letter word, and each protagonist of Octopath, their name starts with one of those letters. Squaresoft, baby.
Final Fantasy 16 comes out tomorrow.
Are you going to get that?
Are you?
No.
Then I'm not.
Okay, good. Got that solved.
I don't know.
I don't have time. I would love to play it. I need to finish Octopath. We're going to space 4,000 years.
Yes, finally it's happened.
When you saw 4,000 years, you were like, fucking 4,000. Don't you mean like 400,000? You think we're going to get to space in 4,000 years?
Well, let's assume that the Zohar, which we got a whiff of in the last episode,
a whiff of Xenogears,
is an infinite power source or whatever, then maybe it solves all the problems of spacefaring travel.
It's a deus ex machina of future technologies.
From Deus.
Music opening plays and the title credits begin. You're playing the movie now.
The action movie?
Playing the movie, the game of anime. After the game is introduced, it pans down across a milky galaxy through the star clusters to reveal a golden Zohar floating out in space.
Yeah.
Like those pictures of them from the Xenogears Perfect Works. I just got another whiff of Xenogears.
Did you?
Yes.
Press the button. Can you clarify the whiff here? So, what'd you just get a whiff off of?
We got a whiff of Xenogears because in Perfect Works, there's literally a picture of multiple colored Zohars just floating out in space.
Oh, okay. So, you can get multiple whiffs off the Zohar then?
In a different context.
Okay.
Because before, it was just seeing the Zohar. Seeing the Zohar in space in its natural habitat is another thing you can whiff off of.
I need somebody to write down these rules for me.
Okay. Well, we're making them up as we go, so hold on.
Okay.
We get to a computer boot screen, booting up the primary connection system. Enter system administrator ID and connection target. Connection target is
Cosmos.
System administrator Shion Uzuki.
Oh, I've heard that name before. Uzuki.
Did you just get a whiff of something, Chris?
I did. I got a whiff of Dr. Saiton Uzuki
from Xenogears.
Xenogears 3.
So this is the first. I was like, Uzuki, come on, man.
Please make this sound effect short.
System ready. Operator should now take a seat. Cut to interior of a ship, of a lab. This is the Vector lab on the Woglinde. We'll learn that later.
I have a question. This is like a very clean, white interior of a spaceship.
Right.
What's the origin point of...
Dirty space?
No, of clean space, clean interior space.
I don't have enough sci-fi knowledge to put that out.
What's your gut feeling here?
I just know that Alien was the first fucked up space, like a dirty trucker space.
Yeah.
Or at least the first one in popular mainstream film. But I don't know. I mean, like, THX, I don't know.
Star Wars, it doesn't have to be the very first instance.
I mean, Star Wars was also, the Millennium Falcon was fucking filthy.
Yeah, but
the blockade runner
the Tantive 4 or whatever opened up was clean and white on the inside.
Fignet, what do you think the first instance, were we looking for clean space or dirty space?
We're looking for clean space.
What was the first clean space?
Initializing FakeNet.
Early films with shiny, clean spaceships include First Spaceship on Venus, Destination Moon, and 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Oh, of course.
FakeNet, what was the first NASA punk game?
We're just making Starfield jokes. Chris brought Starfield jokes.
Answer's 2001: A Space Odyssey, actually.
I think that'll be out during this episode, like as this episode comes
2001: A Space Odyssey?
No, Starfield. Seated at a workstation complete with 3 holographic monitors and a triple stack keyboard is who we will come to know as Alan.
Alan Ridgely.
The camera pans across the room, showcasing more dudes at computers, Vector employees. In the center of this room is a menacing black contraption that looks not unlike a fucking Metal Gear, mainly due to the robot feet and triangular monolithic upper containment area.
I wrote VR chair. Is that safe?
VR, like something that you would lean back in.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit, maybe. Most of my VR experiences have been seated upright, but if I could lean back in the VR, that's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
Lean back, experience it.
Lean back and be on a roller coaster with a rabbit.
Put me in res. Mitsuda gets a full screen credit, then it cuts to the Zohar floating through space, then cuts back to the lab, briefly centering on the red piece of machinery with all kinds of buttons and fiddly bits, but most curiously, a lounge chair mounted in the center. As the camera pans across the room, it catches a mid-body shot of Shion approaching this contraption. She carefully sits in the machine, slowly turning around and showing the viewer her cleavage, but not her face.
Oh, this is the VR chair, actually. The other thing wasn't, sorry.
The other thing is Cosmos' 2, basically. Yeah. It cuts to an overhead shot of the machine's moving parts encasing Shion inside of it. And during this whole sequence, there's a lot of obscuring of character faces. It's vaguely artistic and consistent throughout the entire opening sequence where everyone's face is obscured and you only see like mid-cut body shots.
Yeah.
We then finally see our protagonist's face. Only it's now obscured by the HUD of a red machine. She's in VR or some shit, or she's Geordie LaForge, I can't tell. It cuts back to some of her workers, but there are also 2 women, one with blonde hair and one with purple hair. It is a, not racially, but follically diverse cast.
Follically diverse, yeah. There's green hair, purple hair, all kinds of good. Eric.
Anime.
It's anime.
You can have any kind of hair color you want in anime.
By the way, if you're a new listener, I sound condescending about anime, but I love anime.
Yes, Chris actually loves anime. I'm the one who's legitimately condescending toward it.
Yes.
We then cut to some kind of desktop screen. Shion's body is shown lounging in that chair. We also get a picture of her face as well as the desktop menu. Measures through some stats, Chris. We got heart rate, thermography, blood pressure, MRI, EEG, and psychoanalysis.
Yeah, that's exactly my note. Is like, I think it's cool that you can pick psychoanalysis from a menu. I wish I could pick psychoanalysis on my menu.
Fucking computer doesn't analyze me for shit. No way.
If you could just attach some shit to your head,
it's not going to be right, Chris.
And press psychoanalyze.
The computer can't understand emotions.
But in 4,000 years with the Zohar technology,
no, even less.
Actually,
man. Fucking, you want to trust ChatGPT to tell you how you feel?
I want to rescind what I said earlier about the Zohar being an infinite power source. It's floating through space, and we're on a spaceship to get it, so it can't be the power source for humans going to space. Humans just figured out how to go to space in 4,000 years.
We'll get to that. I think there's some shenanigans with the Zohar. So some emulations, perhaps.
Zohar shenanigan emulation.com. Okay.
A logo at the bottom of her desktop says this is a product of Vector, slogan being, Hear the Future. Hear the future?
Hear the future.
The future is here, maybe?
God's in his heavens, all right with the world.
That's correct, Chris.
Yeah.
Someone runs a quick thermal scan on Shion, which briefly transforms her body into predator vision, then does a quick MRI, something I always need before I go into VR.
Yes.
The results of which are then imaged at the bottom of the desktop screen. Kunihiko Tanaka gets a credit. The Zohar floats by in space. A massive black spaceship floats, you guessed it, in space. It's then revealed to be a small armada of identical spaceships. The production designers, Ishigake Mugitani and Sakura, then get their credits. This is like peak video games are important, and we're going to do movie credits while the opening cutscene wordlessly floats by.
Again, also invented by Metal Gear, maybe?
Yes, invented. Sure.
I used the word invented loosely.
I know.
Yeah.
We're being facetious here.
Yeah.
It then shifts to the point of view of Shion's machine visor. Her field of view is 2 workstations and the Cosmos containment vessel in the center. So then it displays some text on screen. Did you get this text?
No.
I wrote the whole fucking thing down. You want me to read it to you?
Yes.
It's pretty weird.
Okay.
It's also not quite English. Development codename KPX, serial number 00000001. Android for a woman-type battle made from Vector Industries. Cosmos is the generational term of the battle system developed for opposite Gnosis. In formal name, did you know Cosmos is an acronym?
Yes.
Cosmos obey strategical multiple operation systems.
It's a nested acronym.
Meaning the acronym's in the acronym?
Yeah. Right?
I'm not sure of that terminology, but if you say so, I'll believe you.
Like USB.
Universal Serial Bus?
Yeah. I think bus is also an acronym, right?
Fuck, is that true?
I think so.
Oh, man.
I think it is.
Seems already blowing my mind. Anyway, I'm not done. It translates literally. It will become a strategic multi-purpose control system subordinate to order. A development person in charge is Shion Uzuki, which is a first development officer. Cosmos Development Project Integrated Operations Systems Development Room Chief. Rare existence that all consist of machine parts in the present age, when the Realian technology, which is synthetic human being, progressed. Priority is given to the three principles of logic, efficiency, and a duty in all situations. Although imitation character OS is mounted in order to aim communication with others smoothly, and then it cuts off.
Oh.
To me, that read like as something that was kind of half-assedly made into English by non-native speakers and then put as a video effect that couldn't be altered by localization.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So mostly nonsense, but there's some truth in there.
Yeah, there is, for sure. Because even I think that serial number 000001 is in the game later.
And this isn't a whiff, but all that text happening reminded me of the You Shall Be As God screen takeover.
The way this whole scene is cut is not unlike how the first anime sequence in Xenogears is cut, where there's lots of technobabble going back and forth, things happening that are very unclear. Shit. It's more directly related to what's about to happen. It's not like, 4,000 years in the past or whatever, but it has that same kind of feeling to it. And even the musical track kind of echoes, like some of those industrial banging sounds kind of echo.
Like the percussion's part of the soundtrack.
Yeah, the light from the NetherRealm song.
Finally, Shion speaks.
Commencing startup experiment. Open up an interconnection.
Interconnection is the first word of technobabble I have listed here.
Yes, and there's so much technobabble in this game. Shion is voiced by Leah Sargent in this game, who didn't voice Shion in episode 2, but later returned in episode 3.
Oh, good. I really like her performance. She gives Shion a very earnest feel.
Earnest is the word I was going to use as well. Like, she's really into her job and doesn't have the greatest social skills.
Yeah, but she's also kind, though.
Oh, yeah, very kind. Alan, I think that's Alan. That's Alan Ridgely. He speaks too. Roger.
Opening interconnection. Connecting with dummy protocol.
Alan is voiced by a South African actor, Dave Wittenberg.
Dave.
Where have you also heard Dave, Chris? Any just random guesses?
Any Dave I want?
This Dave Wittenberg. What video games have you heard him in?
I don't know.
Pick any video game.
Xenogears.
No, you're wrong. Dave also played Teddy in Persona 4, Kefka Palazzo in Final Fantasy Dissidia, and Yazoo in Advent Children.
I don't like how they give Kefka a last name, even though it was in he was in Final Fantasy 6.
Villains should not have last names. Sephiroth Johnson.
I bet they would have said Sephiroth in this game if Sephiroth wasn't already a cultural thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or Sephiroth, at least.
Yeah.
More Vector Industries workers prep the computer shit necessary for the upcoming Cosmos launch, eventually starting a countdown with an outrageously ominous screensaver. Some mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, wild shit behind it. Mm-hmm. And the production designers are credited, including Akihiko Hone and Xenosaga. Then it cuts to some fucking grabby arm space robots out in space.
Yeah, space junk pods, recovery pods.
That's good. Recovery pods is how we're going to describe that.
Yeah.
It looks like submersibles they use to explore the wreckage of the Titanic, which at this moment, those people could still be alive, but they're probably not. And you will have forgotten this controversy in 2 months.
Yes. One guy went to a Blink-182 concert.
2 of these would you call them space pod robot? What the fuck?
Space junk pods.
2 of these space jump or junk?
Junk.
2 of these space
junk recovery pods.
2 of these junk recovery pods approach the Zohar out in space and grabby hand grab each side of the center. Then there's a fucking guy there. A guy in space in a spacesuit.
Yeah.
He cinematically approaches the Zohar, then touches it with one hand like I pet my cat when it's sleeping. The Zohar radiates, and the fucking guy blurs and then disappears.
One thing that's not obvious at this point in time, that the shit that's going on inside the ship with Shion and Cosmos, and this recovery of the monolith in space is all happening simultaneously in the same vicinity.
This is like a We're no longer in the past. This is all happening now.
Yes, but I was not even sure that the recovery of the Zohar was happening outside the ship that we're on. I thought that maybe this was happening in a different part of the universe or something.
All the game directors are introduced, then we're back in the lab. The countdown is finished. The partition is opened. Cosmos' body is apparently being formed.
Yeah.
Is it like an injection mold type thing? Like, is this the first
3D printed?
Happen every time she gets booted up?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, maybe
is it like a prestige thing where they just keep killing the clones.
Maybe the joints are not put together and they've got to like latch. They've got to notch
them on. It's like assembling the T1000.
Yeah, sort of.
Some wireframe skeletal models pop up on the screen, along with some drop-down boxes that check the progress status.
Is this where they're doing the brain construction here?
Putting the mind together?
Yes.
Possible. After the body formation is complete, pinfield mapping takes place.
What's pinfield mapping?
Do you know? Because I looked it up.
I was about to. I wrote pinfield mapping, then I drew an arrow to write what it is, and then I didn't look it up.
There is a reference guide by Varian on GameFAQs, and this is in it. Quote, a process used in creating encephalon simulation inside Cosmos, probably to link up the sensors to her simulated body. Named for American neurosurgeon Vilder Pinfield. This is not actually a process, but a discovery. In trying to cure epileptic seizures, Pinfield accidentally made discoveries about the human brain that led to a detailed map of what areas of the brain correspond to which parts of the body.
Weird.
Penfield devoted much of his thinking to mental processes, including contemplation of whether there was any scientific basis for the existence of a human soul.
Weird.
Is there a god in the machine? This video game is already asking shit like that.
This is also in the in-game database. Do you want me to read that?
Sure.
It's shorter. I'm going to press the button. Pinfield mapping is a map of the brain which shows the distinct functional regions of the cerebral cortex. The in-game reference is to the digitized procedure which links Shion's cerebral regions to the respective regions in Cosmos.
We then get more desktop wireframe model. By the way, everything is a reference to everything in this game. Like, there's no one's name just there because it's your buddy that sits behind you in class. Like, somebody looked up Pinfield. Like, someone knew who that was before making this game.
I mean, you remember when we first covering Xenogears in the first season of this podcast, called them the Proud Boys, like the Ellie Squad or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
We thought their names were just fucking names, but then we discovered a couple episodes later that they're all references to some scientist or something. It's like Takahashi is full of shit.
He's definitely he Lycosed what scientists tried to measure a soul.
Lycosed.
At a certain point.
Yeah, also, too, I think that's like, even if he wasn't the one who named the character, I feel like he walked around to his staff and was like, if you're going to name somebody something, you better fucking be a reference.
You think he rubbed his beard and was like, yes, very good, Pinfield. Thank you.
Yes.
You please me. We then get more desktop wireframe models, including one of the human brain rotating, separating in half, then opening in the middle. It showcases the diagram, Pinfield map, and settings for foot, body, hand, and face. They proceed with the encephalon construction. They tell us the mapping percentage.
Encephalon.
A virtual environment is mapped, looking like a fairly innocent industrial district. But then Alan freaks out, citing the noise appearing in the temporal lobe. There's a slight simulation of the synapses in section 818.
Yeah, it looks like a Call of Duty map.
Yeah, kind of.
A little bit.
A little wireframe thing. You mean the actual...
the rendered environment.
Fucking D dust.
Yeah.
Alan asks Shion if she wants to have an abortion, but Shion tells Alan to just keep going to stay on program. Shion is going to try for a direct approach, whatever that means. Alan then launches the Nataraja connection system.
Yeah, you know what that is, Eric?
What is it, Chris?
Want to look it up?
Let's do it.
Nataraja is an avatar of Shiva, represented as a dancing figure with many arms. It is of particular interest that this system is named after Shiva, who is also the god of creation and destruction. The system itself was designed by Kevin. It's a very specific representation of the god Shiva, not the Final Fantasy.
Well, no, I'm saying we're obviously talking about the diamond dust spouting summon, not the major Hindu deity.
Being rendered as a cosmic dancer who is like dancing around to move the shit of the universe, you know?
Dancing around to move the shit of the universe. More credits and a flyby of another grabby hand spaceship joining like 10 of its brethren as it surrounds the Zohar. The ships form a triple stack around the thing, each shooting out an energy beam that creates a blue halo. It cuts to a wide shot of a much larger spaceship, and in the distance, we can see the grabby hand ships load the Zohar in the back of the massive spaceship, which we'll learn later is the Woglinde. The thrusters on the lead ship fire, and the other ships in the armada rotate to join its position. The fleet then opens up a portal and blasts off into what I assume is hyperspace. But now we're back in this lab. Shion's AR display tells her that Nataraja is loading. Raja or Raja? What am I silencing that jam?
Not to Raja. I think they
Fake
say...
net, how do you say that shit?
Initializing fake net.
Nataraja.
I think they say it in the game at some point.
It's entirely possible. Shion's login is her name. Her password?
Ye shall be as gods.
God damn it.
I always tell you, Eric, to watch out for creation story metaphor in all video games. Ye shall be as gods is an activation phrase, Eric. It activates my Catholic schoolboy sensibilities because it is from the Bible, from Genesis 3:5.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Nice direct citation, Chris. Perhaps you've read the Bible.
Press the button.
Catholic schoolboy. Activation.
Didn't Xenogears open with I'm Alpha and Omega, the Revelation shit? Yeah,
Yep.
of course. Great. Excellent. Genesis to Revelation. This is episode 1. We're at the beginning.
Ye shall be as gods is what the serpent said to Eve when...
Tempting with the delicious fruit.
Eat the fruit, become as gods, gain knowledge of good and evil. Of course, that's got also a Gnostic interpretation, which I think we can talk about later.
I mean, isn't Xenosaga episode 2 Beyond Good and Evil? Like, isn't that its subtitle translated from...
Yeah, copyright Ubisoft.
Of course.
I don't know.
That game's never coming out. The password is accepted. Then Shion transitions from AR to pure VR with futuristic sound effects.
Password accepted. Commencing Nataraja boot up sequence.
The final game credit then appears. Written and directed by...
It's Tetsuya Takahashi.
Now we're in VR.
I remember reading the development history and stuff, and wasn't this also written by Xenosaga? Did she not get...
She was a co-writer on it, but
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure how crediting works. She already got credit as a producer earlier.
Okay. Cosmos comes to life now?
Reality blinks into existence. The world materializes into the ultimate JRPG fantasy environment, a beige loading dock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, did you all just make this? I still, even going through this, don't know why they chose Earth 1995 loading dock with something on fire.
What if they had built an environment for something to take place there?
Honestly, I think that's how most of Xenosaga 2 was made, is all those post-game dungeons are like, you all just built this without any real purpose.
Yeah. So, yeah, Cosmos is here now, and she's the hottest robot lady of 2003, probably.
Kind of, but before that, the shit starts fucking up, and Shion buzzes into Alan and tells him to start unfucking it.
Alan, there seems to be a problem with the visual field connection.
I see a small break in the MT field, route K12. It looks like the bi-directional link in the V4 field is lagged too.
Yeah, they got to make some tweaks.
And this is more just jargon happening.
MT
field. Mavis Tekin field.
You want to look it up?
Let's do it.
The MT field of the temporal lobe, so that's a brain thing, I guess. Damage to this area of the brain results in a condition called motion blindness, in which eyes can see but cannot track the continuous motion of an object, such as a person who is running or a moving car.
God, I wish that was me.
Instead, objects and motions appear as a series of flash photography images, like when they run out of budget in anime.
Yes.
It is said that to individuals with this condition, a normal conversation is perceived as a teleconference call with very slow transmission speeds.
I mean, I forget what the actual number is, but they can measure like what frames per second your eyes are seeing.
Yeah.
Or so that's why your hand blurs when you do shit like this.
Yeah.
As Eric makes hand jerking off motion in front of Chris.
It's what we do.
For our audio listeners. Alan uses some of his 4 hologram displays as a touchscreen here, which it just occurred to me that they have no mice at their workstations. All monitors are touch-based. What the fuck, Chris? Do you want that feature or do you want a mouse?
Most laptops issued, like corporate issue laptops, have touchscreens now.
Mine does as well.
Yeah.
Tiffany uses it and it drives me nuts.
I always forget that it's there. Only thing it's good for. Only fucking thing it's good for is zooming in on a document when you are... No, 2 things. When you're presenting. The other thing is, like when this doesn't happen anymore because I work remotely, but like when you go to someone's desk and they're like, how do you do this computer thing that I don't know how to do because I don't use computers for fun?
Point their ass to the tutorial.
Yeah. So I can just touch the fucking screen.
Oh, hell yeah.
And not have to be like...
fingerprints all over their screen.
And not have to say...
Leave your slime all over their screen.
Not have to say, can I use your mouse real quick?
Oh yeah, touch their mouse. That dirty, filthy.
I can just tap the screen.
Tap that shit.
And go work.
Fuck yeah. All this shit gets fixed and Alan materializes Cosmos into the program.
Yeah.
She emerges, visor over her face. There's more of that face obscuring stuff. Long blue hair flowing in VR wind and a big anime tits of questionable necessity.
Yeah,
Shion greets her like a Tekken arcade machine. Good morning.
Morning, Cosmos. How do you feel?
Good morning, Shion.
All systems are normal.
Well, how about introducing yourself?
I am an anti-gnosis humanoid fighting system, serial number 0000000001. Development name KPX, abbreviated name Cosmos. As I am currently configured for simulated battle, my output is limited to 22% of its normal capacity. My estimated weapons specifications are...
All right, that's good enough.
All those zeros, was that necessary?
No, but it was in that thing that you read earlier that when you
That's
pause
right.
the screen.
And she's a robot, so she must state facts and logic. Chris,
Yeah.
in this game, Cosmos is voiced by Bridget Hoffman. Bridget also voiced Dominique Cross from
The Bouncer.
Good morning. Hey, Shion, when's your birthday?
Yes, and after sitting out episode 2, she returned to voice Cosmos in episode 3. I think she does a fantastic job in this game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This game is really well dubbed. I mean, the lip sync is off, but that doesn't bother me too much.
No, yeah, the lip sync's bad because it can't be. But
yeah, but the dub is terrific, and there weren't like games, especially games that looked like this, weren't getting good dubs at this point in time.
especially not this much voice dialogue. It's still
Yeah.
a fairly novel thing.
Yeah.
As a fire burns in the background, Shion apologizes for waking Cosmos up for only some startup tests. And I think waking up's underselling materialized entire body into real life to plug into VR.
Yeah.
Cosmos takes his information in stride, and Shion responds by asking Cosmos.
Do you feel sad or anything?
So right off the bat, we get that classic human-android question.
Yes.
Can they feel feelings? Do they care? Can they care? Is it sentient? Can the robot lady experience human emotions and therefore eventually become human herself?
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Yes, basically.
And we should mention this now because we'll probably mention it again another 100 times, but Tetsuya Takahashi, fan of classic American science fiction.
Sure. And at this point, I was very scared this was going to be the entire thesis of this game.
Oh, yeah.
But it really goes beyond that. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think it's even like a top 10, maybe it's top 10, but not a top 5 question this game tries to ask.
Do you want to power rank the thematic questions at the end of the season?
Sure, but we got to keep track of them. And gosh, Chris, we're already keeping track of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, maybe not. Do you want to power rank the ones that we remember?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, power rank a thing I remember. Let's do that. That's going to work out super well for both of us. Cosmos responds,
A predetermined set of emotions has been hard-coded into my emotion module to better facilitate interactions with humans. In order to better facilitate a relationship with you, Chief Engineer Shion Uzuki of the Cosmos Project, Vector Industries' first R&D division, I will emit an expression such as sadness only when that response is deemed necessary. However, the emotion module of my program has determined that this is not necessary at this time.
okay, so facilitate a better relationship with you could go a lot of different ways. Objectively, I think it's meant to explain the master-servant thing between Shion and Cosmos, but the language also allows the viewer to project friendship or romance between this pair of characters. You could ship Shion and Cosmos right the hell now if you wanted to, I think. Did any of that strike you as weird as being like, is that standard, I only have emotions because you told me I have to have them robot shit?
I think it is.
Well, Shion laughs it off and says, I guess of all people, I should know that.
Yeah.
Chris, Shion wants more.
She does, but she also says that she will be sad if Cosmos has to wake up again.
Yeah.
Because Cosmos is only
a weapon.
Is only supposed to wake up in, quote, a time of much bloodshed.
Shion laughs after she says, I guess I of all people should know that. And laughing here is like when you're hurt and you're crying while saying you don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like she's laughing it off like it would be good if you were human. Shion confesses that she has some mixed feelings. Of course, I'm happy that you're awake, but the fact that you'll go back to sleep makes me a bit sad. On the other hand, next time you wake up, it may be a time of much bloodshed. Chris, is this the dilemma Republicans have when they take the guns they want to fuck out of their sock drawer?
I don't want to have to, because it's the same conflict that Shion is having, because she's saying that she doesn't want to have to take her gun out of her sock drawer.
But she really wants to take that gun out.
But she wants to use her hot robot lady to kill something, I think.
Yeah, like she's like fangs dripping with anticipation.
But also I think there's an element of trauma that's holding her back from that we haven't got to yet.
Yeah.
But also,
I mean, there's also
she
the
wants
thing
to
where
use the hot robot lady.
She wants to use it, I think, because she wants it to be her friend in greater themes. But also when you work on a project for fucking however long this has been, like you want people to see the thing that you've been working on with your life.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I don't want to make this podcast and nobody listens to it.
Also, of note, Shion, not a child, 22 years old.
22, wow.
College-educated female protagonist, 2003 RPG. Doesn't happen anymore because the marketing data or something, but...
Shion asks Cosmos if she got that, and Cosmos goes full chat GPT on her.
Oh, God.
The algorithms I have been programmed with do not support the comprehension of a logical human thought. Chris, is that true?
Yes.
Do you think this robot, this Cosmos, will only behave logically during this game?
No, I think there's got to be some sort of...
Like neural net processor, learning computer, learn emotions, and respond appropriately?
Yes, some sort of arc for Cosmos's... What do you want to call it? Arc? Some sort of arc for Cosmos's arc? Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Back to business. Shion asks Alan to pick up from process 277, which is where they left off last time, obviously.
Yeah.
Alan places target drones in the VR apparatus, hereby referred to as the encephalon. They're set to random movement in enemy ambush. Music.
U.M.N. mode.
That's right. The virtual tutorial tells us that battles are initiated by coming into contact with enemies. Chris, this is an enemies are on-screen game.
Oh, thank God.
Random battles are so 1990s.
Except for Final Fantasy X, which is already out.
Yeah, Final Fantasy held on to that. I think through 13, right? Or no, 12 had... Fuck.
12.
Anyway.
11.
We can go over normal attacks and tech attacks. Whatever, I say fuck it, ready for battle. And then the dream within a dream, the clinical white surface of Vector descends into the floor, producing a waterfall of gray gloom on all sides. But then it solidifies, and two dudes in a machine appear out of the ether. Music, battle, is audible, and we're progressing with a combat encounter. Chris, a lot of particle effects, a lot of blood smoke exploding out of people in a teen-rated game.
A lot of death blow combos.
That's right.
Going on here.
Yeah, do you have any early thoughts of the battle system? Because it, to me, is very Xenogears.
It feels very, not proto-Xeno... What's the opposite of proto-Xenogears?
Post?
Post-Xenogears? I don't know. There's not too many tweaks to the Xenogears formula except for the addition of the boost system, which is really cool and really fun to play with, which we can talk more about that later. But yeah, early on, it feels sufficient. It feels like this is a RPG battle system from 2003 that does not need to evolve. I know that it evolved in Xenosaga 2 in maybe a bad way, but I really like how it feels complicated, but it's simple to execute.
And if you haven't listened to any of our shows before, I kind of refuse to learn valuable in-game mechanics until the game puts a gun to my head and forces me to operate them.
Yeah. So you haven't learned how to do boost yet?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I'm like 7 hours into this game already.
You can save a lot of health items by using boosts.
Medic is a great spell, Chris.
It is, but you don't have to use it.
Music, battles end plays after the battle ends, and we get a look at the prosaic results screen. But now we're back in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
An elated Alan says the data transfer is going smoothly. In fact, the A-line protocol is looking good. Chris, what's the A-line protocol? ChrisNet, the return of ChrisNet from Chrono Cross.
No, this isn't ChrisNet. This is
Well, I just mean ChrisNet is Chris looks up some shit on the computer.
Nope, I've only got violation of protocol.
Alan just talking shit. Shion is excited about the results as well. Then a strangely resigned Shion stares longingly at Cosmos, then tells Alan to skip all the remaining 300 level processes and start from 400.
Oh my God, what does that even mean?
This means that Alan becomes anxious, which I think is his default state.
Hey, Alan, let's skip all 300 level processes and start from 400.
Huh? 400? Chief, but that's...
I feel pretty confident this time.
But, Chief... Remember what happened last time? Had we waited 10 more seconds to intervene, we wouldn't have been able to get you back at all.
Apparently, Shion was 10 seconds away from being lost in the sauce. Alan wants to test it out in objective mode, but Shion protests they can't get precise data that way. And there's something of a line where, like, Cosmos is a project that needs to launch.
Yeah.
That people are getting anxious about, like, not becoming real yet. So I think Shion's trying to fast track it and skip vital processes.
There's an extremely soft deadline here. Like, they don't have a date for it, but they want the shit as soon as possible.
Like, Vector kind of doesn't care when, but the Federation kind of wants this shit now. Shion pressures Alan into doing it anyway, suggesting she can take care of herself. Eventually, Alan, as he always does, sighs and complies. But he says he'll shut it down remotely if shit starts going down.
And don't deviate from the program.
Okay, Mom.
Jeez, this is so typical of her.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, Mom.
Fuck yeah, dude. She called him Mom.
I wrote that down, then I drew a sad face next to it, because, like, that's, I mean, obviously we haven't gotten...
The way that Shion treats Alan, I still can't figure it out if she respects him or has no respect for him.
Oh, I think she's oblivious.
Oblivious is a great word.
Yeah.
Oblivious is like, she's just like, he's under her, so whatever, do the job, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. She's definitely oblivious because she like Squall before her is lost in the work. She cares about the work.
She's really into her job.
She projects differently than Squall, obviously, but like they're both about that life.
As the other two lab techs look on, Alan wonders if Shion ever thinks about the hell he goes through, all for her. Chris, do you think Alan is compensated fairly for his work based on this shit?
We don't really get a whole lot of information. Like, this is definitely not a post-scarcity society.
You think we should be getting seed money every hour?
Yeah, I think we're getting paid.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting paid. But do you think Alan is he number 2 around here?
I think he's number 2 around here.
Yeah,
he is. And I think we'll hear a little bit later, is like Vector First Division R&D or whatever is not easy to get into. This is
it's a fairly elite,
something that Shion's family can't even believe that she's a part of.
Chris, do you think this is the first time Alan's being called mom?
Oh, this feels like the way the line is delivered in the English dub feels like she says this to him all the time. And every single time a piece of his heart breaks.
I was going to say, do you think Alan likes being called mom?
No, he fucking hates it.
Final question, do you like it when a lady calls you mom?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think I would like it either. It hasn't happened to me before.
I mean, even if my wife said it in jest, it would probably be in response to me saying something stupid. So
you just point to her and go, "No, your mom."
that actually
not my mom.
Yeah.
What is some Mike Pence shit doing here? One of the lab techs makes a joke about how Alan somehow isn't dead from all this anxiety, but Alan tuts those MFs and asks if the 400 level program is ready to go. Alan says it's go time. He wants detailed reports, and he'll turn this car around and go back home if there are any abnormalities. Fade to black. Now we're in the encephalon.
Are we playing the video game now?
This is the game. We're in the game now, dog. Using text instead of voice, Shion tells Cosmos and the player what's up. Quote, "This is an imaginary space constructed within the network. It's modeled off some ruins from early 2000 AD.
It's modeled off the Tokyo jungle."
Oh, great game. Man, it's very, close. "Your mission is to fight the main target within the dilapidated building. Your target is marked with a red vector box.
Go blow shit up and find the red box." Real ass video game shit right here. Finally.
Ultimate tutorial.
Yes.
And it's been a half hour at this point?
Yeah, at least.
Okay, man, I get it. Building levels is hard and outfitting them with lush art assets is taxing, but you absolutely cannot introduce your ambitious, generation-spanning sci-fi narrative RPG with a brown and beige warehouse district factory fucking floor.
Would this have been better off to just be like a Metal Gear Solid VR mission?
Or like Wireframe, or like give me the Macalania Woods or something like that. Like show me some imagination, man. Show me where your budget is with the first thing that I play in this game.
This was before middleware. They couldn't just speed some trees out of here.
That's a good point, actually.
Actually, there probably was middleware, but
I think they were coding pretty I don't fucking know. Why am I even speculating on how this game's built?
We make podcasts, not games. By the way, speaking of the way this game looks, it looks good.
It's pretty good.
Like, it looks good in motion. I think Shion's running animation is a little weird, but I still love it.
Do you want to share your RetroTink post-processing effects? Are you just straight doing?
Since I'm capturing it and streaming it,
you can't add
I'm
those.
leaving it raw. You can, but the
capture looks fucked up.
Compression fucks it up.
Yeah. But you can still adjust the resolution to some kind of more... Never mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fine.
And we're off. Music. Nothing plays.
Oh, yeah, I love Nothing. It's great. It's a nihilistic feeling, right?
It's
music,
sound of
air conditioning.
It's like idling wind in the background, like the global hum from real life or the eerie echo of space on Star Trek.
Yeah. First thing I did here was, climbed a ladder.
Did you notice that whenever you get near some objects, the air conditioning sound gets more intense?
Oh yeah, and they'll put them in the various stereo channels as well. Like
that's for with headphones, really.
Yeah.
So it blends.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It does work pretty well.
So yeah, you climbed a ladder. What'd you find up there?
I don't remember if the game explained this to us yet, but we can vaporize shit by pressing the button and blowing shit up.
Yeah, you can have some environmental effects and create some kind of AoE stuff for enemies to walk into and become weakened.
Good destruction noise. I think it's the same destruction noise no matter what you destroy, but I love it.
Yeah, just blow it up.
I love it.
It sounds like a bunch of glass and metal stuff just dropping onto a factory floor.
It does. And whenever I hear it, I can see polygons falling apart in my mind's eye. For some goddamn reason. What's wrong with me? So, yeah, there's a guy on fire. I set the guy on fire and then fight him.
You set a man on fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
A guy? Like a soldier guy, right?
Yeah.
Then I did a battle, and then Cosmos said something upsetting.
What did Cosmos say?
She needs to be cleaned.
Oh.
My external appearance is down 5%. Shion, I need to be cleaned.
You haven't noticed that?
Cosmos said she needs to be cleaned?
At the end of a battle.
I need to be... Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said, Shion needs to be cleaned. Like Shion.
Oh, no. Cosmos says, my external appearance is down by 5%. Shion, I need to be cleaned.
Okay.
So...
Again, innuendo all over the place if you want to see it.
Yeah, Cosmos cares about the drip. It's the first time I've ever used the term the
I think that's accurate. Yeah, as a 48-year-old man, you really just
yes, I'm currently 48. Yes, no, I'm 41. Not much of a difference, really.
No, it's the same thing. It's all downhill now. There's also some good footstep. This game has footstep sound effects.
Oh, yeah,
which is interesting for a video game in 2003, I think. That's not going to get annoying at all. We can get into a few fights. Diegetic fire. There's a car off to the right. Chris, is that the car from Nortune? Just a random car here.
Oh, it could be.
It's not.
No, I don't think so. By the way, Shion, her battle animations, she's got this large grapple shield thing that can shoot fire.
It's like a multi-tool.
Yeah, and it can use... Yeah, I got a multi-tool right here. Want to see it?
Yeah, let me see your that's a pocket knife.
No, it's a multi-tool. Look.
Okay.
Anyway, so she's got that thing that she uses to cast elements on people. She's opening ether ports or something, right?
Open ether circuit, please.
Circuit, excuse me.
Loading spell ray into it, punching glyphs out of thin air and loading them into her thing.
But also she knows like a little bit of martial arts, though.
Well, this is VR, but that eventually in real life,
yes.
Yeah. So do you think Vector all has they all have like basic military training?
Yes, I think so. Or when you're born into anime, you just know some punches and kicks.
How long do you think we'll play this game before we grow tired of opening ether circuits, spell ray, 25-second battle animations?
I never became tired of long-ass battles in like Chrono Cross, for example. Like it never began to bother me when covering the game for this podcast because it was a time in which I was not writing shit down. It was a break from writing shit down.
You could enjoy the video game as a human being.
So it feels a little bit different this time around. But I think there is some redundancy here.
Some interesting stuff. When you leave an area and return, all the guys respawn. Chris, is Xenosaga a Souls-like?
No, it's a Mario-like.
Okay.
Or a Mega Man-like.
Mega Man-like?
Yeah. Something like that. We eventually find out that we need to get the mission key to get through a mission door, right?
Yes.
Cosmos, by the way, Cosmos has a Gatling gun.
Mm-hmm.
If you save some AP, you press circle and she pulls out a fucking Gatling gun. It's upsetting. Machine gun.
It's like a Terminator. It's like a minigun Gatling gun with 3 ports, but there's 3 of those. Like there's 3 Gatling guns bonded together with 9 total bullet hole ports.
Bullets are an interesting choice.
Yeah, like I thought it'd be lasers.
Yeah, for 4,000 years in the future. Like, why are we? I guess there's practically
plenty of ammo. There's a whole ammo planet.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it kicks out to an in-engine cutscene. A startled Shion grabs her chest as a giant orange and white robot walks out.
Yeah, Eric, that's very obviously a GM, right?
Good morning?
Good morning.
No, GM.
God Machine.
A mass-produced mobile suit from a Mobile Suit Gundam.
Right.
It looked same color scheme and everything. You want to count my Gundam references?
I was hoping you would say, what's the generic robot that we cited all the time that I eventually learned from Xenogears?
Going to fast forward through some of this bullshit where they try and figure it out.
Oh, Zaku's.
Zaku's, yes. Yeah. Is whatever is the GM, the Zaku.
The GM is the Zaku of the other faction of the Earth Federation.
Okay, so they are related. I was just making a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
Its mono eye glows and scans the room with pink and gray robot vision. It pulls a gun on Cosmos and Shion, and now we're locked in mortal combat. Battle plays.
Did you say battle vision?
It scans the room with pink and gray robot vision.
Robot vision. I've got first boss from Battletoads vision.
Oh, yeah, second-person gameplay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Throw that fucking thing at the screen. Before we've properly fought our first battle, we're told about the AGWS, pronounced eggs.
Eggs.
Eggs. AGWS.
We're taught how to contact and transmit and drop eggs onto the battlefield.
Yes, we're doing it with like the same thing that... Like the pocket dimension that Optimus Prime keeps his trailer in.
Right.
It's the same kind of technology.
They explain this shit though later. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And here I'm like, how many battles was it in Xenogears before we got a gear?
You dummy. The very first battle in Xenogears was in a gear.
And they're already like, oh, here's your big gear, dude.
Yeah.
It's right here. We got it for... Oh, I know why you're here. Here is your red gear. By the way, your first eggs looks like shit.
Yeah, it's just a fucking thing.
Yeah,
and these things aren't that big either.
It's almost like a mech suit.
Yeah. We have some actions we can use with the eggs. We can use a W act, which we don't have access to. I think you have to have the same weapon in both hands in order to use W act.
That's how I use W act in real life.
Yeah.
Whacked.
There's no items. You can also move, like you can change your position. I don't know what that does.
You can't attack from the rear, but I think if you're physically standing behind someone, or maybe just in the back row at all, you take less damage, or you can't be attacked.
Okay. You can also get out of your eggs, and you can also guard. Also,
guarding will charge your AP bar or whatever.
Ew, I thought you couldn't charge AP as eggs.
I'm not sure if it's, if you're in eggs, I don't know. I have no idea. I just meant in general.
I'm in eggs.
We know a lot about this video game.
Shion's got we're discovering the video game. Our weapon is some sort of SMG and also a weapon sword.
Yeah, like it's just have we not figured out a better machine gun in the last 4,000 years?
No.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, they're in Fortnite too. Now is the future. It's been 20 years.
Remake. Cosmos is a sick turnaround pose when I win.
Yeah.
Then we're back to the lab.
Yeah, in a cutscene.
Music, startup test plays. Alan and the boys and girls at the lab say that all the shit here looks great looking shit.
Cosmos has apparently reached a checkpoint.
Yes.
Is that like a developmental checkpoint? Like I can now...
A milestone?
Use my first word?
Like we did our 400 level thing?
Yeah, okay. And I think the crew is now going to enable some G drones.
You mean Process 431 type G drones are now replacing the targets?
Does that mean there's harder bad guys now?
I think so. They're going to introduce harder enemies. And we're back in the encephalon. Alan tells Shion that target drones will now only respond if Shion makes excessive footfall noise. We have to hold down the R2 button to walk.
Oh.
Walk mechanics, Chris.
No wonder I got attacked by all the enemies here.
Oh, did you not pick that up and you just ran?
Yeah. Proceed quietly and find mission key or just blow shit up. I like the blow up sound, so I did that.
Play it again.
Yeah.
We can also access that golden floating save point back there that looks like a smoothed out version of the save point from Xenogears. It makes this noise. What's it say though, Chris?
It says U.M.N. on it.
Yeah, it has been branded and marketed. They have goddamn marketed the save point.
Yes. I think the point is that we're tapping into the network to save our progress, right?
Once again, they have contextually justified a reason for this to be, even in virtual space. There's it's like a node. They have Wi-Fi here.
Mm-hmm. One of the enemies that I fought here is called a drone G1.
Yeah.
A drone from Generation 1.
That's right.
It has upsetting raptor legs, hip shakes, and phallic armaments.
Mm-hmm. A lot of phalluses and fish-like opponents in this video game.
Yeah, credit to Panda Pajamas 17 for the phallic armaments comment. Thank you.
Great combination of words.
I don't know what this means, but I wrote they beam hard.
Hard beams. First, I discovered segment address 10.
Oh, shit.
My memory tells me is a series of doors hidden throughout this game. I suppose we'll see later if that's true.
Yeah, it is true, I think.
So I make my way up to an office where I grab that mission key. Then I go back and I insert that mission key into a door, the most compelling of video game objectives.
Mm-hmm.
This leads to what? What do we find?
A cutscene?
A crimson vector box resting on an elevator platform.
Oh yeah, the red box we're supposed to destroy or something, right?
Now that we've played the game for 6 minutes, it's time for another in-engine cutscene.
Yeah, Alan and the boys are about to summon an inflatable tube man.
She types on her VR hologram computer while a shaky green, as Chris said, white giant goblin rises from the platform. It's dancing, swaying back and forth, like the Gen Xers in the Simpsons episode Homer Palooza. I liked your metaphor better.
It's vibing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like somebody spent some time on this. Cosmos fucking shorts out.
Yeah, a brand new network is emerging in the Cosmos network. Eric, is that a fake net?
A brand new network is being created in the Cosmos mainframe. We've never had a reaction like this before. This is incredible. I've never seen a net, capital N, grow so fast.
Is it a fake net?
What did we decide the fake net actually was in your Xenogears intro bonus episode at patreon.com/retroam?
I think we decided to determine that a fake net is a fake network that is used to capture malicious attacks.
Is it like when you kind of boot a virtual machine in Windows XP to test shit out in ancient times or something like that? Like it's a partition, like a safe, dangerous place?
Yeah, once you've captured the fending
the computer
agents,
virus.
Then the fake net then can be discarded.
Fake net, is that true?
Initializing fake net.
It is not true. I can never be discarded.
Whatever.
But I think really what's happening here is that the Cosmos is like...
reacting in real time to new stimuli?
Yeah, developing new neural pathways and things of that nature. Maybe. I don't fucking know.
Alan goes on to say portions of the encephalon map are evolving, showing Alan an indecipherable diagram of yellow and purple lines on his green hologram desktop.
The encephalon is the thing we're inside of now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the factory floor. Shion tells Alan she's going to engage the target and needs him to capture the data, and Alan can't believe that shit. Quote, "You're tapped into Cosmos' perception. It's too unstable." The trademark of Shion driving Alan insane, still in its foundational period, is further established. Alan is like, "What do you mean, don't worry?" After she tells him, "Don't worry." Music battle ensues, and we're fighting Drone GX.
Yeah, it's got gross fingers.
I beat that shit up. It's kind of tough. It guarded a lot. I had to save AP or whatever to get that extra attack out of Cosmos.
Yeah, I ended up using my eggs here. So it doesn't do much damage to your Eggs.
In case I needed my eggs for later, I didn't use it. I saved it.
Okay.
Just to be sure.
Okay.
What if I needed it later, Chris?
You might need it later. I can also use my eggs later, too.
After the battle, my wife can use her eggs later because they're frozen.
Oh.
After the
I think we got... No.
You still got one on ice somewhere? We do.
No, I think we only had... No, I don't think so.
See, our Parasite Eve episode to talk about artificial insemination.
Yeah.
After the battle, Shion is pleased with Cosmos' performance and commands Alan to shift target to real mode.
So far, so good. Shift target to real mode. We'll test the Hilbert effect.
What? Chief, you're supposed to follow the program.
Cosmos, activate Hilbert.
Roger. Activating Hilbert effect.
Chris, what's the Hilbert effect?
I don't fucking know. We should
Chris.
look at... The Hilbert effect is a device which generates a finitely bound realm, a sensory realm to be exact, to enable an intersection with the imaginary realm. It's like crossing fucking dimensions.
It's a fake net.
Kind of is. There are specific wave energies that exist in both the realms of real numbers and imaginary numbers. This device interprets such wave energies into a common language, thereby allowing the physical realm to interact with the imaginary realm, the realm of Planck scales. What this means, then, is that the gnosis, which exists outside our physical laws, can effectively be dealt with using a physical, real-world approach.
So it's dimension hopping to interact with them in real time as opposed, like see them on our plane of existence? Or is this some just encephalon shit? No, it has to be in real. The Hilbert effect is applied in real life.
It does apply in real life. It basically...
Real game life, not real life.
It bridges the gap, right? Binds the realms together.
It makes them tangible.
Yes.
The planes intersect.
Yes.
Two worlds become one.
Planck scales.
Alan can't believe this shit and screams at Shion for going off program. Music, I think the rest of Startup plays. That action sets an alarm off back at the lab, complete with Alan aggressively declaring that he knew this shit would happen.
Yeah, he's ready to yank the shit, as he said he would do.
The tech says it's bad. The encephalon could collapse in any moment. Alan screams at Shion to get out of there. Shion tells Alan to hold on. Alan, once again, freaks out. One tech then says some hilarious bullshit.
Chief! Nerve impulses in the limbic system. We've got kindling.
And it's a capital K on kindling, Chris.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Kindling, when bursts of electrical charges occur repeatedly in the brain and neural impulses pass through the limbic system repetitively, the result is a permanent acceleration of certain neural connections or the opening of entirely new neural paths. Kindling is any process that permanently alters the inner emotional state being of the host.
So that's when you ascend to the next plane in the Bradley Cooper movie, Limitless?
Yeah, but if you're permanently altering the emotional state, that could also be like emotional scarring, right? Or like
like
trauma.
some PTSD stuff.
Yeah. So bad, I guess?
Yeah, so you can't tell if bad or not. Alan performs a spinning hero swipe and commands the lab techs to shut this thing down. This is enough.
That's enough! Shut it down! Pull her out of there now! Roger, entering shutdown command.
I really wanted him to say yank the shit. I don't know why.
Yank the shit. The lab tech enters the shutdown command, but it's rejected internally by Shion. Alan can't believe that shit. Another lab tech says it's 10 seconds until the encephalon collapses. And now I'm like, if you die in the encephalon, do you die in real life? Like, is that what's happening?
I guess so. I mean, she's hooked up to the VR shit, right?
Yeah,
so.
Your brain can't tell a difference, man. People scream cuss words, then it hard cuts back to the vacuum-sealed silence of the encephalon. The world glitching out around her. And the drone GX continues its silent rave into oblivion, turning into pure white light and falling to its knees as the ominous whoosh is deployed.
Ominous whoosh.
As it fades into a brilliant white light, a small girl with short red hair and purple eyes appears in the center. Baby Shion? Eliham Van Houten? Her purple eyes don't match Shion's cyan eyes. Cyan?
It's Ellie.
Does that mean it? Yeah.
I whiff Ellie.
That's fucking Ellie. I just got a whiff.
I got a whiff. Press the button.
Four.
The two engage in a staring contest before Alan magnificently materializes out of the ether, screaming Shion's name,
Chief!
Then physically dragging Shion out of the encephalon. Fade to black.
He finally got to yank some shit.
So what do we think that was? Like, obviously it looks very much like Ellie, and this is where you start nudging your buddy who's played Xenogears in the ribs real quick. What is fucking hell? Is this like, what do you, like, just, I have no idea what it is. I forgot. Do you think this is herself from the past contacting herself in the future? Let's go through the tropes. Like, ghost meant to warn her, girl from the future, Shion from the future reduced back to, like, babality.
Babality.
Like, what do you think?
Having Xenogears context.
Yeah, with young Faye, the split personality.
Makes me think about she is some sort of emanation from the Zohar.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point.
And because of whatever processes are being run in here, perhaps because they're like...
The Zohar is on board now, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a new thing with encephalon training.
Yeah. So...
That's a good point. I think
it's in the process of sort of tapping into the
psychosis of Shion.
But like Shion hasn't made contact with it yet, but like perhaps like...
it's on board. Like the ship's not that big.
Yeah.
The Zohar's big. Now we're back to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
A distressed Alan awkwardly leaps over his desk chair, rushing over to Shion. He asks of her if she's all right. Shion anime pushes her glasses up and wonders, to the room, if she pushed her luck a little too far this time.
Alan's going to fucking die, dude. He cannot handle this.
This level of distress at all times.
Like, he's so worried. Alan is mom, really?
Yeah. Alan drops to his knees, doubling over with a mixture of distress and relief. He tells Shion she cannot keep doing the shit. He thought he was going to have a heart attack. Shion apologizes, but she bets the data they acquired will be, quote, really good. For a second, Shion flashes back to the child. She zones out. Alan notices this and asks her if something else happened in there. Shion hand waves it off, then suggests they need to get started analyzing that data. She further vanishes any chance of additional detail by telling Alan that today is their deadline. A voice over the intercom then tells the characters and the player,
"Attention, please. We are scheduled to gate out in approximately 3 minutes. All hands, please return to your designated areas immediately. Once again, attention, please. We are scheduled to gate out."
So, like, we've gotten several expressions of Alan in terms of his feelings towards Shion, right? But like,
I don't know. I don't know if he likes her or if he just doesn't want his boss to get in trouble.
It's difficult to tell if they're romantic feelings at this point in time. Although, like,
is it a senpai notice me thing?
That's my assumption at this point in time. I do appreciate that, like, all of his feelings that he's expressing towards her in terms of the amount that he worries about her and wants her to stick to protocol and not fucking die is earnest concern for Shion's well-being and not, you're a pretty lady.
You can tell Alan cares more about the human than the data.
Yeah.
Which is nice amongst a military lab tech.
It's not apparent at this point in time, but like Vector Industries is not part of the military. This is like a joint operation.
They're contracted, right?
Yeah. This is like a joint operation. So things are run a little bit differently, which some NPCs give us some insight into that.
Now we're in space, the final frontier.
Oh my God, the fleet is slowly gating out of hyperspace or something.
There's also kind of space-wide Terminator electrical storm, a wormhole or portal opens, and a cartoon sword spaceship emerges from the iridescent hole.
Yeah, it's like slow space opera pornography.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like, it's just...
It's more that silence.
Slow-moving ships, like just some very minimal sound here, like just kind of like echoey space sounds.
The portal goes supernova and bursts a distinctly scarier-looking ship emblazoned with Vector logos amongst the fleet. Later we'll learn this ship is called the Woglinde, and I hear jet engine sound effects, which is a funny thing to imagine in space.
Yeah, that's true. But I do really like that this gating scene or whatever is built to give us the sense of of this operation. There's multiple ships. They look like warships.
Like,
I think
this
they are
isn't
warships.
just the fleet, this is a fleet.
Yes.
Is it meant to showcase wealth, power, or just how far mankind in space travel has come in 4,000 years? Like, this is just one thing.
Yeah.
Or is it just a cool-ass spaceship?
Yes to all, I think, right? Like there's a level of, let's call it mecha appreciation that's going on here. Like, we want to make a cool-looking space mecha. I mean, I know this is like a
my
humanoid
spaceship.
mecha, but yeah.
And I think that on the side of the ship, you can see Woglinde. Do we want to say what that's a reference to now, or does it actually...
Oh, you want to look it up, Eric?
Is it in the... Yeah, I mean, I looked it up in real life, but look it up in the game, please. Also, wouldn't it probably be Woglinde? Have I been fucking that up the entire time?
Somebody gave me the correct pronunciation, and it's in my notes later.
German fake net.
Fake nets initialisieren. It is pronounced Woglinde.
I mean, it took us about, 30 Xenosaga episodes before we said Veltal instead of Weltal, so...
Woglinde, built by Vector Industries and loaned to the Federation Marine Corps, it was the first battleship specifically built to combat the Gnosis. Although Vector hastily added a bridge and bare-bones propulsion system to make it operable on the test flight, the ship remains 80% incomplete. Wow. Due to its status as a test prototype, the Vector logo can be seen in a place of the usual Federation Marine Corps insignia, which that actually clears things up because I was very confused about like who owns the ship.
Yeah.
The ship consists of a unique bi-level design which enables it to split to an upper and lower section. The upper section houses the bridge. The lower section is not actually a part of the vessel's body. It was created with recycled materials to temporarily house the new logic drive during its test flight. This vessel's length is 1,000 meters. The end.
Wow. Woglinde is probably a reference to one of 3 Rhine maidens who first appeared in Richard Wagner's opera Der Ring des Nibel. German fake net.
Fake nets initialisieren. Woglinde, Woglinde and Floßhilde appear in Richard Wagner's opera cycle Der Ring des Nibelungen.
The other 2 Ride Maidens were obviously Velgund and Flosshild. Now we're on the bridge of the Woglinde. The roof is a half dome of glass, and the workstations and walls are all a clinical shade of hospital white.
This is anime bridge.
Oh yeah,
this has been in every anime.
And this is not used space. This is clean space.
I'm talking about the structure of where the crew terminals are and how the captain is on the upper level.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like Nerve headquarters in Evangelion, actually.
Lots of glass. Various workers iron out the fine details of space travel with exceptional jargon.
Exit from current space set at absolute time 1300 on the 22nd. 7 hours, 16 minutes, and 30 seconds to withdrawal.
Next U.M.N. column in 7 hours, 36 minutes. All gate jumps from other sectors will remain offline until then.
Chris, there are strict rules of internet here.
Internet and space travel, right? We can't just jump from one point to another like Star Wars hyperspace lanes. This is more of there's a system. We have to go to an interchange point, basically, I think.
And we'll talk more about what the U.M.N. means a bit later when we get to email.
When we get to the PSP.
There is a mustachioed man sitting at what I assume is the helm of the bridge. This is Kazushi Moriyama.
Yeah, he's the captain, and he's got a mustache.
So, we're almost home.
Yes, sir. Our final gate jump is at the next column. We're almost there.
He's voiced by Doug Stone.
Yes, Doug Stone of Psycho Mantis fame,
Doug
right?
Stone is Psycho Mantis. Moriyama looks over to his side guy and a second voice from that clip, the clip I just played, and the guy standing by his side with his arms folded behind his back, he says, "So we're almost home." His sideman, yes sir's that, detailing their final gate jump is the next column. This sideman who looks like a cross between 2006 Eric Roberts and 2003 Billy Bob Thornton, combined with blonde hair, blue eyes, Nazi coding is...
Andrew Cherenkov?
Cherenkov is voiced by Paul St. Peter, who obviously was Zenmus in a lot of Kingdom Hearts games, and the Swahili zombie in Resident Evil 5.
Oh, you missed one important one.
What's that?
He played Kuriyama the Nine-Tailed Fox in a show called Naruto.
Oh, I don't look up anime.
That's all I looked up for the voice actors, basically, anime games.
Good. A crew member who is Bridge Bunny a slur?
Is Bridge Bunny a slur, fake net?
Initializing fake net.
Only when you combine it with other slurs, like ass, hell, or Harry Potter.
I think it's more of like a trope.
Tired trope.
Yeah.
Approaches the 2 men and tells them they'll probably be fine, as the odds of contact between columns is statistically low. Plus, they're in an asteroid field. Chris, what do we think columns are? Dimensions of space cordoned off from Gnosis interception?
Yeah, I think I'm almost reading it as like
a pathway?
The area between the gate jumps or whatever, right?
Walking down the ramp from the bridge, a quietly incensed Cherenkov responds, "So, Pollyanna thinks the asteroids are going to protect us." Chris, Pollyanna has survived 4,000 years as a metaphor. Eleanor H. Porter's work is confirmed to endure throughout space-time.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Pollyanna?
No.
You don't know what being described as Pollyanna-ish is as a metaphor?
No.
Starry-eyed, ignorant of the world, assuming it's all going to work out, basically ignorance.
Oh.
Like joyful ignorance.
Okay, so there's not somebody on the ship named Pollyanna.
No, that was a metaphor.
Okay,
I'm glad this moment happened on the podcast for you.
Okay, good.
It's okay. I didn't know it until, I don't know, at least that was until I was 12.
Hopefully thanks. Hopefully the listeners can hear my eyes light up right now.
Moriyama walks down the bridge himself, approaches Cherenkov, and chides him for being a bit testy today. He asks if something is wrong.
I wish he would have asked if he was hungry.
Because that's usually solving a lot of problems.
That would have been more condescending.
I mean, we're going to find some shit out here, but Cherenkov is deeply disturbed by some shit.
Yeah.
Cherenkov denies there's an issue, but then another crew member approaches and confirms this is the same ship that collected the Zohar in that intro. He says that everyone on the ship has been a bit jumpy since they collected that thing, and they still have ways to go before they reach something called calm space.
Calm space.
Calm space.
Don't know what calm space is, Eric.
Community space denied.
Yeah.
The original Bridge Bunny asked...
Captain, can you, debrief us on the current situation? Our original orders from the Galaxy Federation were to investigate the vanished planet and assist the researchers.
but ever since we picked up that object, it feels like everything's changed. What exactly is that thing anyway?
Who knows? I haven't heard a thing from the research team. But, as I mentioned before, apparently they're after the object too.
Is this the first time we've found out that a planet has vanished?
I think so.
Okay.
And we'll see a CG cutscene of that a bit later.
And are we supposed to intuit that the Zohar monolith was the culprit here because we've seen the astronauts be demolished?
Yes, that is our second vanishing, either direct or indirect referenced. But they picked up the object and everything changed. She asks what that thing is. Chris, all of science fiction has taught me that if you find something fucked up in outer space, you need to leave it there.
Yeah.
Moriyama power crosses his arms and replies, "Who knows? I haven't heard a thing from the research team, but apparently they are after the object too."
Oh.
Chris, who is they? Is that our first they?
I think it is our first they.
That's not like the Gnosis. That must be like another faction.
Yes, that's the council. I mean, I don't know if there's a council, but it reeks of council.
A villainous faction that may
Yes.
have nefarious purposes or altruistic purposes. Who can tell? Another bridge bunny, they're all standing up and staring at Moriyama now, asks about the rumor regarding all of the casualties during the retrieval process, which we saw one of those when the dude approached it and vanished.
Yeah.
Moriyama, a corporate guy through and through, puts his hands on his hips and tells her that even if that were true, none of their business. Their only instructions state that they must retrieve any salvageable objects in this area. That is the top and only priority.
Their retrieval takes top priority.
Top priority? What does that mean?
Now Cherenkov steps forward and tries to get epic.
What it means is, over our very lives.
Now, no need to scare them. Those orders merely reflect the importance of this operation to the Galaxy Federation government, that's all. Just stay sharp and be careful.
That makes sense, sir.
Moriyama returns to arms behind back mode and tells Cherenkov, who I am, now convinced either a company man zealot or a religious cult freak to settle down. Because whenever like the Zohar gets brought up, Cherenkov like fucking starts going on one, getting really hyped up and shit. Moriyama says those orders only reflect the importance of this operation to the Galaxy Federation government. Another worker points out the whole fleet was renovated for this mission alone, and if there's an emergency, they have the trump card to fall back on. Moriyama's like, ah, shit, yeah, what's the status of that? And my dude says the A7 reports are due today. And they're talking about Cosmos.
And the A7 reports is what Shion is supposed to turn in later, right?
Moriyama knows what that means, and he says they're only one step away from becoming fully operational. We're not left wondering if they're talking about Cosmos, as Moriyama then sends for someone to go get Chief Uzuki once her data is ready. The tech workers talk amongst themselves and wonder if the trump card Moriyama mentioned is the battle android. They gossip a bit and mention how far behind schedule the project is, especially after the casualties during the last boot-up test 2 years ago. So that's our first hint that like they've tried this in real life before and something very bad happened.
Yes. We'll get some more on that later.
One guy is skeptical of an android doing anything useful, and he thinks the whole project is just a chance for those Vector guys to show off. Chris, they're going to replace human workers with robots.
Oh no, close the borders.
One of the workers says something offhanded but interesting.
I heard that even their commercial models differ greatly between those that have seen action and those that haven't.
Cherenkov then steps up and says some wild shit.
They say ignorance is bliss. Looks like they were right.
Commander?
I'm just envious, that's all.
To me, this fundamentally suggests that experience fundamentally changes those models, which means they're either capable of learning or they have souls. I think they mean realians here.
I think they're talking about realians. I was about to ask you that.
They shift subject, like...
We haven't really been introduced to realians yet, but it's kind of like...
But up front, they're suggesting they are capable of learning shit and changing.
Yeah.
When Cherenkov speaks, he's basically saying...
I wish I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I wish I could just... what's the fucking Apple? There's an Apple TV show where people go to work and clock out and become different people.
Severance.
Yeah, they're severancing that shit.
Yeah, it's interesting too that you brought that up, that they're talking about the realians and how they have this capacity to learn. And I wonder if that's a contrast to what we saw with Cosmos earlier when that like new network was being developed or whatever. Is like, are they just now learning that Cosmos is also able to adapt?
I think they think she's a realian. Maybe like that was her foundational premise, but I think she's excelled far beyond that.
Yeah, but several characters will specifically use the word android to describe cosmos.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily use that with realians. It feels like realians are like the
more human
naked babies from Japanese TV commercials. Like they're just grown, right?
Yeah. As opposed to produced.
Yes.
Everyone then kind of looks around while Cherenkov confidently stares out into space. And my estimation here is he wants to get raptured or killed by this thing so bad. It fades to black as a rock flies into his head. It's just an asteroid drifting by outside the ship, but it just looks that way as like it fades.
So what? Did I miss something?
And that's all we've got until the lab, which we'll get back to in the next episode of Retrograde Amnesia.
Cool. Eric, would you like to consult the RealNet?
Initializing RealNet.
Can I first congratulate your dog for being in the room and being very good the entire episode?
Yeah, she's done. She just wants to. She just wants our presence. She's like, I didn't know what y'all were doing down here without me.
Your buddy talks a lot.
Yeah. Eric Van says, I do think it's interesting that they differentiate the different eras by having the 2000s characters look mostly normal, then the 6000 era characters look anime as fuck. Cliff Racer replies and says, this is what happens when your soul isn't bound by gravity, which is a Gundam reference.
I just thought the future is always anime.
Freaking Out a Name says that Star Trek was always a pretty clean sci-fi show.
Which one, though? I mean, the Cardassian Deep Space Nine was filthy in some areas. Generally, yeah.
Enterprise, yeah. Eric Van says it's very funny that everything shatters like glass. I love it.
Why even bother with multiple sound effects?
Aiden Mizuki says Takahashi's on record saying that the reason Xenosaga 1 has so many cutscenes as opposed to gameplay is that the rendering engine wasn't finished until 6 months before the deadline.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of production issues that make things happen the way they happen.
Fei Fong Wong says, hey, my first time on the RealNet. Can I get a shout out? I'm probably responsible for at least half of all the views in the Xenogears podcast on YouTube after all.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube, by the way, if you want to. There's ads, but I should also promote the Patreon. Ad-free.
That's right. No ads.
No ads.
No ass.
Except for ads we do about the Patreon.
Zaku.
Exhibit meme.
And Nizuki says, I don't know how much you guys plan on using them, but the eggs are a big handicap because if your pilot dies, you can't revive.
Ew. I mean, that is one of the memories I have of this game is barely ever using the eggs.
Grace Wandeer says, the Dilbert effect is when cartoonists turn out to be racist lunatics. A lot of people call Alan a simp.
I can see that.
I want to continually evaluate whether or not Alan is simp.
A simp rating index?
I didn't catch you said it. It might have been Aiden Nizuki in the first episode, but pointed out that the intro scene in the desert is evocative of Stargate.
Yeah, I enjoyed Stargate. I never watched any of the series, but of course I watched the James Spader, Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Aiden Nizuki also says the androids are actually older tech in Xenogears lore. I mean, in Xenosaga lore. So
aliens superseded them.
Yeah, that also may be why they are skeptical of the battle android because it is older technology. All right. Well, thank you, RealNet, for joining us tonight. We will see you on the next episode of Retrograde Amnesia. This episode was a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on June 21st, 2021. You can find us on Twitter, if it's still there, at Retro Amnesia Pod. You can email us at podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam. Get early access, bonus episodes, ad-free, miniseries, access to the RealNet, and you can personally thank Mark
Shepard,
because I'm doing it now. Thanks, Mark
Shepard,
for the intro music.
It is my fault. What?
Until next time, Eric.
Yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to sleep.
You'll have to go back to sleep once everything's checked out.
Oh yeah, Monolith is also fucking it's.
It cuts back to some of her workers who I am no longer confident. Nope. It cut back. Some mitochondria as the powerhouse of the shell call the wild shit behind it.
Powerhouse of the shell.
I don't know why I said that. Let me say that again.
I'll cut this. But one of the great things about being off Twitter is
congratulations, by the way. I'm very envious.
Is that I didn't know any of this was happening for like 3 days.
God.
And then I heard somebody describe it on the radio, and I was like, "What the fuck is even happening?"
Yeah. There's been some great japes. So you missed that it's controlled by a PS2 controller?
No, I got that. Okay. No, it's actually a Logitech controller.
Whatever.
Anyway, yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. One thing that being off Twitter does is it makes websites good again.
You have a good like rotation of websites now you go to every day?
Yeah, you
That's
go to,
cool.
you go to websites again.
Wow.
People will go to websites again.
You read it. Chris is going to subscribe to Defector. You can cut this, but isn't, in the lore of this game at this point, isn't it known that Earth fucking vanished? Like wiped itself off of all planetary systems and maps and shit like that?
I think so.
So the Zohar has like some vanishing properties to it. His body flowing from a distance. Why did I write his body shields his eyes? I don't know.
His eyes shield his body? No, his hand shields his eyes from that are in his body.
Do a DX chop when you leave.
Somebody messaged me the other day. He's like, I got. There's a ring around my mouse cursor. I don't know how I turn that on. And I was like,
reinstall Windows.
Go to the start menu and type in mouse, and then look through the settings.
Was it UMD virtual tutorial plays? Or UMD mode? Is that what it is?
UMD mode. I
didn't actually write this down.
I
captured it. I captured it as unlisted noise, but I think it's actually listed, and I just missed it.
It's you. I have it. Hold on, because I downloaded the track earlier.
Oh, I put the track in our OneDrive.
Oh, oops. Yeah, it's not UMD. That's the PSP.
The PSP's physical media format.
Yes,
that's correct. God, I kept saying UMD too, didn't I? Fuck. My brain memories were over.
Fix or not.
The fake net will have already corrected me in real time. Don't worry about it.
See, it can be
brandish it.
It can be this. It can be one of these.
Oh, hell yeah. Those are called pliers.
Yeah, it can be.
What else can it do? Show me the other functions of your computer tool.
It can be. You
got a toothpick in there?
Probably. I wouldn't put my teeth on it, though. There's
scissors. Wow, you can't get those anywhere else. Yeah. What else is in there?
There's like a knife, I think, in here.
Whoa.
There's a fucking entry in here called hoodlums.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cosmos, how do you feel? Cosmos replies, good morning, Shion. All systems normal. Chris, that sure is. Then Cosmos introduces herself.
Yeah. She says she's an anti-gnosis humanoid fighting system.
Then I'm like a serial number. They're the fodder. I can't think of it right now because my brain's full of horse shit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Xenogears, the gears that were just the fucking jobbers, the jabronis.
Yeah, I can't even.
We're gonna sit here until we think. I am not proceeding on until we think of like what the fuck we called the random robots in Xenogears. We talked about them all the time. It was some Gundam ass.
Oh, Zaku's.
Zaku's, yes, is whatever is the gene. Moriam is Pollyanna on the ship. For fuck's sake, dude.
Playtime's over.